I'm Alice Hoyle. I'm an RSC, so relationships and sex education expert type thing. I work for It Happens Education, and today I'm here with Hannah talking about jealousy.
We use this word jealousy quite broadly. Sometimes we're talking about being jealous of people's achievements. Sometimes we're jealous of someone in a relationship. If we just focus in on romantic jealousy, what does romantic jealousy feel like?
It's a really good question about what jealousy feels like, because it will feel different for different people. So some people it might be anger, or it's sort of a sense of competitiveness, of wanting to win, wanting to get one better on whatever the thing is that they're jealous about. Resentment, feeling frustrated, helpless, angry. It's a whole heap of different emotions, quite complex emotions, and, quite a lot to unpack depending on what the individual situation is. But I think the baseline of it is jealousy is a very uncomfortable emotion that's quite difficult to handle and quite difficult to manage.
Why is it that we feel romantic jealousy?
I think it's probably coming from wanting to feel safe in a relationship. So feeling jealous is maybe a sign that the relationship isn't as stable as it could be. But I do think in sort of a really stable and healthy relationship, jealousy shouldn't really be a thing, because you should be secure enough with each other and know where you stand with each other that you might get a crush on the actor in EastEnders, or, the shopkeeper, or whatever it is. But that's okay, because it's no threat to your main relationship, because you both feel that, it's really strong and secure. So jealousy isn't quite so much as a thing. I think jealousy much more in the early days of a relationship, while you're still getting to that sort of really stable point, is much more common.
And obviously jealousy is a really unpleasant feeling. And many people feel jealous when there is no real reason to feel jealous. However, there are also times when, someone might have hurt someone else, or they might be on the receiving end of someone who's been dishonest with them. Are there any benefits to this emotion in these instances?
I think it definitely has a protective function. Your past experience will shape your current experiences. So if you've had sort of a really difficult relationship before, or been cheated on before, or, you have past experience where things have been unpleasant, it's a natural bodily response in a new situation to be feeling anxious, feeling jealous about different situations based on your previous experiences. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a healthy way of responding, but it is an understandable response. In unhealthy relationships, quite often jealousy can be manipulated by one partner to make the other person feel insecure or feel jealous, and it's quite a manipulative emotion. Or it can be sort of a natural byproduct of your own insecurities rather than being manipulated by the other person. So there's a lot of complexity to sort of relationship jealousy, I think, more so than sort of just being envious of, someone's got a nice car or the latest trainers or whatever.
And obviously jealousy is an incredibly strong and complex emotion, and it can feel quite overwhelming and overpowering when it happens to you. How might we respond to that emotion in a potentially healthier way?
Talking about it is the main thing. So it's about sort of being able to talk to your partner about those feelings. If the jealousy is with you and they're not doing anything to warrant those feelings, it's because of your past experiences and so on, then that might be an indication that there's something you need to work on there and unpack a little bit more to try and help you with those difficult, sort of uncomfortable feelings. It's slightly difficult if you're not in a relationship with them, and it's sort of more abstract jealousy, so that sometimes we can't talk directly to the person, but it might be talking with friends about it and unpacking those feelings and where they're coming from. Maybe a counsellor can help with those feelings. If it's not something you want to talk about, sort of writing it out, drawing it out, creating art around it, just to help you sort of process some of those tricky feelings can be quite helpful.
And if you are in a relationship with that person, how might you navigate that sort of conversation with them?
It needs to feel really safe and comfortable for both of you, not bringing it up at a tricky time for both of you when you're both busy. Maybe you need to be eating together or going for a walk together, so you don't have to look at each other face to face if it's something feeling really uncomfortable. Maybe if it's quite a difficult conversation, it can help to script stuff out first. So sort of writing down what you want to say and the points you want to get across, but also recognizing that if it's a feeling more coming from you than anything that they're doing, they're not responsible for your feelings, you are. So if you just feel jealous because they happen to have a slightly bigger social life, or whatever the context is, it's got to sit with you, and you're responsible for managing those tricky feelings. And if it's a good relationship, hopefully they'll acknowledge those feelings and go, okay, well, I'm not going to stop seeing my friends because you're feeling jealous, but could we do it like this? What if you're involved more, or come out with my friends, or whatever the situation is? Hopefully you could find a path through that makes you both feel happier and secure together.
And in some cases, jealousy sort of could well get out of control and it becomes destructive. And, you might be on the receiving end of some really unhealthy behavior from your partner, like phone checking, or them monitoring where you're going. If someone in your life is acting like this, how do you know if things have just gone too far?
So I often talk about something called comfort, stretch and panic as sort of zones of feelings. So when you're in your comfort zone in a relationship, it's all good, things are relaxed, your body's all chilled, but maybe sometimes a bit boring, nothing exciting's going on. Then the next zone is the stretch zone. You're excited, you're doing something new together, your bodily response is interested, it's engaged. So you're excited and alert, but not scared. And then the outside of that zone is the panic zone. And that's where your fight or flight response has been hit, like triggered, your heart's racing, you've got butterflies, you're feeling very anxious, it's all bad. Your relationship will move out of these bodily zones at different times. But if consistently you are feeling in the panic zone, that's really a sign of an unhealthy relationship, and one that you might need to get help, whether that's counselling, whether that's speaking to, a trusted adult or trusted friends. You need support, because being in the panic zone is not okay. Having these really, really strong feelings in a relationship can be really destabilizing and unhealthy, really. So it's a sort of sign you might need to get some help with working through that.
And have you got any practical advice for people who are on the receiving end of incredibly controlling and jealous behavior?
I think it is about being very clear you're not responsible for their feelings, that they are. If you love and care about them, you can take certain steps to help them with those feelings. But equally, if someone is expecting you to change your behavior, as in not go out as much, not see certain people, not be friends with certain people, then that's controlling behavior. That's not a healthy relationship. That's not okay. So it is that sort of fine balance between you that you've got to navigate these feelings, but nobody has the right to control anybody else to help their own feelings of insecurity or jealousy.
And how might we be able to help somebody who is struggling with jealousy?
Jealousy can often come from a place of really low self-esteem. So it's also about how can we support them to have good self-esteem. And so I think it is being a good listener, a supportive person, and recognizing that those emotions are valid but maybe slightly misplaced, and trying to dampen down that extreme response that we sometimes get.